What's up, FlowChat Connector? Sean here, back at you with another high-ticket tune-up. In today's video, we're going to talk about 3 simple words that create momentum in any high-ticket sales conversation that you have. Stay tuned. What's happening, FlowChat Connector? Pow! Sean here, back at you with another high-ticket tune-up. Make sure and smash the like button for this one. It's going to be really good. Feed those algorithm gods so that we can get more people learning this content. It's so good. All right, so check it out. Had a great question come in today from Bill. He said this: Sean, my client seems to put me in the corner with bad ideas that won't work. Can you help me? Well, Bill, yes. And in speaking with Bill, what I learned was that Bill just gets stuck on some of his own words. And so some of the things I want to share today are the most simple words, but the most powerful ones, especially when it comes to NLP. So with this, let's dive into a little show and tell. And of course, Yoda's with us as always. So first and foremost, what are these simple words and what do they mean? Today, I'm going to talk about 3 simple words that create momentum in high ticket sales. Very, very powerful. Anybody can use this. It's very valuable, right? Don't forget to share this to other people. So these are the 3 words: and, but, and because. Let me say that again. And, but, and because. Everybody knows these words. You learned them probably when you were 5 years old. However, you probably didn't understand the full meaning behind them and how to use them. So these 3 words allow you to add, delete, and qualify different statements that aren't connected. Okay. So that's a very simple definition of what these 3 words can do in your high ticket sales conversations. So let's get into the first word, but. What is but? We're going to start with but because I like big butts. And no, I'm just kidding. But acts as a delete button to what comes before and sets people up for the good and bad news that is supposed to follow. So example, you did well on your copywriting. Okay, so that's a positive. So we're going good to bad here. You did well on your copywriting, but I got lost on the meaning of your story. This went from good to negative. Now, when you say a statement like that to somebody, they're going to take the last part of your statement and keep it personally. That's the part that they're going to remember. A lot of great copywriters always talk about like the first thing you say and the last thing you say are kind of the 2 things that people remember most of the time. The middle is what people forget. In fact, when you're writing copy, if you're writing emails, for example, I don't know if you're an email writer, but here's a pro tip. The number 1 thing that gets looked at is your headline. The second the number 2 thing that gets looked at is your PS line. And the number 3 thing that they look at is bullets inside of your emails. So if you really want to make some hooky emails, have a great headline, a great PS, and maybe 1 or 2 or 3 bullets in the middle of your email. Those will definitely get looked at. But as we're looking at this, that was just a pro tip outside for copywriting. But when you use this word but, you did well on so positive, but I got lost on the meaning, negative, right? Now let's look at the vice versa. You used too many times during your sales call, negative, but now we're going to the positive, but you were able to close the deal. Positive. So as a prospect or as a client, I'm listening to this, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like I did use too many times, but I closed the deal. So that's the great result. That's what everybody wants. Yay, I get the pat on the back. I feel better as a prospect, as a client, right? Because you went bad to good. So most people, when they use the but pattern, they typically go good to bad. Now I'm going to challenge you today, try to go the opposite way. Try to start with the bad statement, use the word but, and then end on a good note. When you can shift that pattern, that's an NLP pattern. If you shift that pattern in your mind, whenever you have conversations, you know what's going to happen at the end of the day? All of the people you're talking to are going to love you, right? This creates massive rapport just with this one word. And framed correctly, remember, we want to start with the negative and go to positive, always end on the positive note and when this particular pattern, and you win. Okay, let's go to the next word. And. What does and allow you to do? Well, it allows you to add a new thought and connect it to the first idea. Okay, so a couple of examples here. And, or at least one example. Hey, you did well on your copywriting, but I got lost on the meaning of your story. And I know you're going to feel amazing once we reframe it, right? And you can see how I took I went positive to negative, but then I switched it back to a positive feeling and emotion with my prospect by just using this. So it gets a little more complicated, starting with but first, practice that technique a little bit, then throw in the and you'll find yourself starting to crush it. And so now we've got but and. Now we know that pattern, right? So and connects 2 ideas that maybe, again, if I go back here, allows you to add a new thought and connect it to the first idea, okay? So if you want to connect thoughts, 2 ideas and is your huckleberry. And just like this one, you did well in your copywriting, but I got lost on the meaning of your story. And I know you're going to feel amazing once we reframe it, right? Now I'm saying this to a client as if I'm coaching them through copywriting, right? So use this in context, important. And then the last one is this. What does because do? Well, because allows you to not only connect 2 ideas, but also to say the first idea is caused by the second idea. Okay, a couple examples, or at least an example here. Okay, so I'm going to put you in before we go through this example. What I want to do is I want to focus on putting you the context around this. Okay, so let's say, for example, you get through a full sales conversation, high ticket sales conversation, and you get to the place where they say your solution is too expensive. So this is the move, how you can use this NLP pattern and but because in one sentence to destroy it's too expensive. You're too much. It costs too much dollars. This is the move. The NLP tactic, strategy, technique, whatever you want to call it, this is what it looks like. So you saying back to a prospect, okay, very simple. Hey, it does seem expensive, but, okay, there's that first pattern. So it went negative. Now I'm going to positive. That's because we haven't looked at the ROI this will give you. And right now I'm connecting another idea. Okay, I went from negative to positive. Now I'm connecting the second idea. I'm sure your feelings will be relieved once we have. Shall we do that now? Because I want you to feel great about your investment. Okay, so now what I've done, again, if we go back here, allows you not only connect the second idea, but also say the first idea causes the second idea. So the first idea is it seems expensive. The second idea is because we haven't looked at the ROI or ROI, right? And then the feeling that we want to relieve from it being expensive is, hey, let's look at this investment because I know it's going to give you the exact response that you're looking for. And that's it. It's very, very simple. These words are super powerful. And if you've never used them in conjunction, I highly encourage you to do so, because once you do, what you'll find is you'll crush it, right? And so let's just go back here. These are the 3 words, and just remember them. It's as simple as that. With that said, you've just been tuned up. There's a FlowChat connector inside of each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow.